Hello and welcome to Who We Eat, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. I am one of your hosts, Cameron. I'm here today with my co-host Ben. How are you doing today, Ben?
I am doing well.
Today's episode, we're not going to be discussing a Doctor Who episode. We're going to be talking about
What?
Star Trek,
Star
blasphemy.
Trek?
Uh,
Who likes Star
yeah,
Trek?
this is a weird one because Ben, you are a Star Trek fan.
Yes.
Um, would you
Big
say
Star
it's your
Trek
one
fan.
franchise? It's like if you had to say one franchise that you love the most, is Star Trek your one?
I think so.
Like, if you had to do, like, a game show and you had to pick one subject to be like, "This is my subject in terms of a media," would you pick
Yeah,
Star Trek?
probably, yeah. I mean,
'Cause mine, of course, is Doctor Who. So it's a role reversal to that of
yeah,
the 2
like,
of us.
if I was on a game show, I don't know how well I would do for, like,
Yeah.
trivia and stuff. Just it's not something where, like, I've rewatched all the episodes,
Yeah.
like, 100 times, but
No, like, like, listening to, like, Red Letter Media, we're both friends of Red Letter Media, and, like, sometimes, like, their knowledge is, like, fucking crazy that they can just be like, "Oh, yeah, this episode and this" basically, back in the days when you only had X amount of channels and Star
yeah,
Trek would just be on and you would just be able to be like, "Okay, this is Star Trek and this is this episode, I've seen it 30 times." We
yeah.
don't live in that age.
No, no. I guess, to give my rundown for what my experience with Star Trek is, briefly. My father showed me, a variety of different original series episodes as a child, which I said, "Yeah, some of this is okay. It's kinda old, kinda slow, I don't know. Next Gen, oh, that's kinda neat, I guess. Yeah, sure." Uh, Probably late middle school, early high school, I watched Deep Space Nine, and I really loved that. And then when, you know, that that's probably one of my favorite TV shows, period. Um, and then I watched Voyager, and that was really good. And then I watched Next Gen in full, and that was really good. Tried Enterprise, got 2 seasons in, and said, "I'm out. This is too much, or not too much. This is just bad." Um, and I'm a little bit of maybe a Kurtzman apologist, where there's some bad stuff for sure, but there is good stuff too. Is any of it as good as we had it in the 90s? No. Is it bad? Unilaterally? No. I think some of the later seasons of Discovery is great. I think Strange New Worlds is really good. Animated stuff I haven't seen as much of, but I've heard great things about Lower Decks. And yeah, I'm a it is my one big franchise. If I could only watch one franchise for the rest of my life, I would pick Star Trek.
So, I have a similar experience to you where from my father showed me original series episodes as a kid. Um at the same time, probably similar to you, my went with my father to go see the Kelvin movies. The first one in 2009 one being a vivid memory of just being like, wow, loving that as like an 8-year-old, seeing it with my father and my grandmother, who's also a Star Trek fan of the original series. Um, so I have nostalgia for that and watching the occasional original series episode with my father. But the thing is, my father is one of those people that was an original series guy. So he doesn't care about any of Star Trek after 1960s, except for the movies with the original crew and the he likes the Calvin movies. So if it doesn't have Kirk and Spock in it, he does not care. I feel like I want at some point I want him to maybe give Strange New Worlds a shot because it's Pike and Spock, so maybe he might enjoy that.
I think Strange New Worlds is probably It's the closest we've gotten to that style where it's a little bit more episodic. It's like character focus instead of like plot focused. Like it's a true ensemble cast. Discovery I really like, but it is just Michael Burnham every day, all day. And I guess there's a gay engineer that we can, talk about sometimes, but it's Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
Um, where Strange New Worlds, each episode is about, this is a Pike episode, this is a number one episode, this is
Mhm.
uh I can't think of some of those names, but everybody has time to shine.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things about Star Trek that I really like is you get to see all these different people's perspectives.
So basically, mine, the whole stuff was the original series, the movies, mostly the movies, meaning 2, 3, and 4. I remember vividly as a kid, I loved Search for Spock. I have no idea why I loved Search for Spock as a kid, but I loved Search for Spock as a kid. Um, and I have vivid memories of, like, the VHS set of, like, do you remember this at all? What I'm talking about?
I did not have
Um,
it. We have the DVD.
I don't I only had 1 or 2 of them when the the libraries decided to get rid of VHSs. I think I got, like, Search for Spock in, Wrath of Khan, because again, I love Search for Spock for some reason. All of the original series, they had a box set of, like, all of them, and if you had all of them together, it would be the Enterprise.
That's cool.
Um, and I have vivid memories of just seeing that as a kid, and, but yeah, so then I never watched Next Gen or Voyager or Deep Space Nine, and then when the Discovery came out, I never really gave it a shot because everyone online talked shit about it.
Those
Uh,
first like season is bad.
yeah. Even though I had CBS All Access because I am one of the very few people that got it for the Twilight Zone remake, which is also not good. So, yeah, so I always wanted to watch those other shows, but never really dipped my toe into it.
I
The
tried
only
in
times
college.
I dipped my toe into it was, I would say, in high school, I watched the Next Gen movies when they were on Netflix at one point,
According
and
to
I
Letterboxd, just
watched.
the first two.
Yes, I should have said just the first 2. So I watched Generations because the Kirk connection, and then I was like, "Oh, I should watch the next one," and then that was First Contact. Enjoyed First Contact and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch other Borg episodes." So I think I watched some random Borg episodes of Next Gen, but really don't remember. So I think I probably watched Best of Both Worlds, but I have not really any memory of it because it's like I have no context for this show really, and
Yeah.
it's like I would imagine I'm gonna get more out of it now that I have spent 30 hours with them instead of being like I just came off of 2 movies with them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I never, even though I'm curious why I didn't, because of course, at a point, even when Paramount Plus existed, they were on Netflix for a good while. Um, so it's not like I didn't have access to it, but I never did because I think I had Doctor Who, I was interested in movies, and I was I was filled. I really liked. I'm a big fan, like I said, of 2009 Star Trek. Um, Into Darkness. It's Into Darkness is like a mixed bag, I would say. I'm not as hot on it, some people. Some people think it's like the worst Star Trek movie ever created. I think it's like it's it's one of those movies where it's like it's kind of better when you don't have any connection to the franchise, but even the smallest connection of the franchise, you're like, why are they making these choices? Why is Khan even here? Like, it would just be an okay movie without Khan in it. But because Khan is in it and they always are making these references to other movies, it just makes you roll your eyes, and it just makes it a worse movie because of it. But anyways, shout out to Beyond. I enjoyed Beyond. Like, I feel like not a lot of people talk about that movie nowadays. It's kind of a
Yeah.
forgotten movie. It's a fun ass time.
I think 2009 is good. The other two I don't care for. I've seen all the movies. Choose the best. Maybe four. I might like four more. I need to do a rewatch of the the 10, probably all 13, honestly.
So what I did, what started this was I watched one day. I put on Wrath of Khan.
Should have
Lovely Wrath of
started with
Khan.
motion picture.
I should have started with Motion Picture. I still haven't seen Motion Picture. One of these days, I just have to sit down and watch it. But all I've been told my whole life, including my father, which is the reason why I've never watched it even as a kid. My father was like, "Don't watch that. That movie is boring." So I'm gonna listen to my father. I'm not gonna watch the movie because it's boring.
I would equate it a lot to 2001,
Yeah,
where it's got some big ideas and it's a little bit slow, a little bit dramatic. Like, oh, let's do this big pan of the Enterprise that takes like 3 minutes. And that's it, the whole movie is just like that, where it's really self indulgent. It does have some interesting stuff with, I don't know how much you know, but like V'ger, and I don't dislike it.
yeah.
There
But of
were
course, the
Star
big
Trek
thing about
movies.
that, where it connects to Next Gen, is that it's the movie that has the most involvement of Roddenberry. Um, and then he kind of subsequently gets less and less involved in the movie side.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, I watched Wrath of Khan, was like, "Oh my god, this is great, I loved it." Watched Search for Spock, was like, "Okay, this is fine. It's a fun time." Um, and then I watched Voyage Home and loved it. I am on the wavelength of I think I love Voyage Home even more than Wrath of Khan. Like Voyage Home is just such a fun movie. It's a fun time with the boys.
Oh yeah.
That's what Voyage Home is. Um, so then I had this opportunity. It's like, all right, am I gonna watch Final Frontier for the first time? I believe I could have watched it as a kid. I don't remember watching it as a kid. Or should I do this in release order and watch Next Gen? I decided, you know what? I'm gonna give Next Gen a shot. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Yes.
I watched the first two seasons of Next Generation, the two bad seasons of Next Generation. Um, and we're gonna talk about it. Ben, you did not rewatch it with me.
No.
So on some things your memory is going to be a little bit hazy.
Yeah. Rewatched a couple that I remembered liking, but a lot of that, especially the early stuff, which isn't as good as the later stuff, is a blur. And unlike like Deep Space Nine, I've watched all the way through twice. Next Gen, I only saw the once. Couple solitary episodes I may have seen a couple times. Like I've probably seen Best of Both Worlds 2 or 3 times. I've seen All Good Things 2 or 3 times, which is the series finale, which is really good. But most of them I've only just seen the once.
So yeah, my general thoughts are first starting off with season one.
Yeah.
It's just it's mostly just meh. It's just like the highest point of season one is just kind of okay. There's not really even a standout episode throughout the bunch that's like, wow, that's great.
If you had to pick one, what would be the best of season 1?
It's actually really hard to pick. Um Maybe it's 11001001. I really like that episode. Um I also did like Where No One Has Gone Before. That one was pretty fun. And then also I liked How to Glory a lot. That was the first Worf episode. And that's something I should just mention off the bat is that like one of the big things about season one is that so many of the episodes you were talking about how with Strange New Worlds, they would have like character focused episodes, right?
Yeah.
Season 1 doesn't even have that for a majority of them. Majority of them, it is just it's the crew on a new planet, and this is what we're gonna get into. Like you have the occasional most of the time, if it is a solo episode, it's a Wesley episode. And then like you have like the odd standouts of like How to Glory being a Worf episode, and then like Datalore being a Data episode. but for majority of the others, it's kind of is more ensemble-based storytelling, which when you also include that a lot of these scripts, of course, I've also it's in that time when they were gonna make a new Star Trek series in the '70s with the original cast instead
Yeah,
of
I
doing the
think some of
movie,
these are retooled Phase 2 scripts.
and then some of them are just redos of original series episodes, like The Naked Now. So it's just like it just kinda creates this feeling of just like majority of the times you're just like, "Okay, this is fine, but this isn't great." Yeah, it's just the thing that kept me going throughout, I would say, is just they are it's enjoyable to just the cast is enjoyable to watch. Um, like Patrick Stewart is great, Jonathan Franks is great, and their relationship is just like it's a really the whole show and all the characters because it is that Roddenberry just there's no conflict within them. So it is kind of like there is a warm sense of there's a warm feeling just being with these guys and spending time with them and knowing that nothing too bad's gonna happen today. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna relax and put on a next gen episode, you know?
You say that, Cam, but in season 1, one of the main cast members dies.
Yes, but also it's like a cast member that she's kind of like the
Tasha
most
Yar.
developed one because like they give her more of a backstory than almost any other one except for maybe Worf. But then there's just like it's I know some people actually really like the episode The Arsenal of Freedom, but like I don't oh no, it's not The Arsenal of Freedom. It is Skin of Evil. Some people really like Skin of Evil, but I couldn't get into Skin of Evil. Um, I thought it was just an average episode that just has the death tacked onto it that makes it memorable to people just because they're like, "Oh, that's the one that she dies," and it's kind of not a big one of the things like, I kinda do like that it's not a big death. It is kind of just a like, she just dies, you know? It's not like this big thing of, like, she sacrifices herself for all the others and all of Enterprise, and it's just like, no, she just dies.
There are stakes.
But the end bit of the episode's very good when they all do, like, the the eulogy and, like, the funeral that they have service they have for her. Yeah, and then, like, you have some episodes here and there that's just okay, like, the Neutral Zone's okay. Um, Coming of Age is, like, a tease of Starfleet Academy when Wesley is, like, doing tests to go into it, um, or, like, being like, it's it's either, like, joining a special program with Starfleet Academy or just going to Starfleet Academy. I forget exactly what it is, but it's a fine episode. It's
I think
probably the
it's
best Wesley
the
episode.
entrance exam,
Yeah,
so you can go to Starfleet Academy.
and then, like, Too Short of a Season is also another episode that's kind of fun to watch just because it's a fun premise. Do you remember that premise at all? That's the one when an old, like, captain I think it's admiral, decides to take this alien potion that makes him younger to go back to the Civil War that he caused because he gave both sides weapons because of the Prime Directive.
It's somewhat familiar.
And it's fun just because it's a very Star Trek premise of just like there is a tale of the right and wrong with it, but it is a pretty dumb premise of just like, "Ah, I'm getting younger and younger," and, but I can go with a dumb premise, you know? When if you're telling a good story, and it is a fine story. But yeah, which one did you rewatch? Did you rewatch
I rewatched, just as a baseline, Encounter
Yeah.
at Farpoint, uh, and Datalore this episode, to talk about Encounter at Farpoint first. As someone who has seen the whole show, I was surprised about how different it feels. It feels more like an original series kinda episode than
Oh, but
what
that's
I would think of
the
as
whole
next
season.
gen. Yeah,
The whole season, it just feels very much like original series, much more than I thought it was going to.
and a lot of them are more simplified than I have come to expect. Like, Troy was like doing like sending psychic messages instead of talking, which is weird. And of course, Riker is naked, which is weird. Um,
Even as someone that has almost no context, even I was like, "This is wrong." I think that the
it's
immediate thing I
unnatural.
texted you was like, "When does that bird come in? Because I am not liking this."
Yeah, there he just looks good with the beard.
Yes.
If you ever watch Deep Space Nine, a similar thing where Cisco, the captain,
Yes, I
has
did read
hair,
about this.
and then at some point he switches to being bald, and it works so much better.
And he grows a goatee, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
um, which that's what he wanted to do all along, but they're like, no, we
Yeah,
can't have two bald captains.
yeah. But also, I think there was a race element too to it, if I read correctly. They were like, we can't have that. Like, it's gonna." He was just like, I think it was like something like he was like just in something that he was like a black detective or something like that. And like, we can't have that in Star Trek.
But this is not Deep Space Nine.
No.
But Encounter at Farpoint, I thought was fine. It's like I don't know,
Yeah.
seven, six
It's
or
not.
seven
I
out of
don't think it's a
10.
great pilot. I don't like Q is an interesting idea, of course,
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see where we go more with Q. But like
I
for
thought,
your first episode, trying to hook your, you know, this is going to get millions of people to watch it, and this is their first taste. It's not a really a good taste of what you're going to be getting because most of it is just it's kind of dull. It's kind of a dull episode,
yeah,
even though
and
you have this god.
90 minutes is way too long.
Yes.
If it was a cool 50 and cut out some of the filler stuff of just like talking. I
But,
mean,
like, it has an A plot and a B plot. It has the Q storyline and it has, like, the 2 jellyfish plot
yeah,
line. But, like, this jellyfish plot line isn't interesting.
no,
So you only have the Q stuff, and the Q stuff, it's an interesting premise, but I don't think you never fully, like, it never fully gets there in terms of the idea because you kinda just the whole entire time, you're like, he's putting them on trial for humanity, but you kinda like, but, like, this is Star Trek. We know that they moved on from this.
yeah,
So it's just
yeah. A lot of the characters. I mean, I suppose that's just the natural progression of things, but they feel like prototypes for their true characters. Datalore was the other one I watched, and I enjoyed that one a good bit more, I would say.
which is
Uh,
definitely one of the best episodes of season 1 just because it is a character-focused episode that we getting more lore on a character
yeah, uh, Data.
who, of course, like, just to mention it now before we get into that episode, it's just, like, I think it is something interesting about Next Gen of, like, doing the give you something you're familiar with, but giving a little bit of a spin on it. Which is what Next Gen is definitely in that camp of sequel, where it's like, all right, we're gonna give you Kirk, but he's not the captain. He's second in command with Riker. We're gonna give you Spock, but he's not. But we're gonna give you Spock, but we're gonna split it in between two characters. We're gonna give you the alien, which is Worf, and we're gonna give the more intellectual side, which is Data. And then
Yeah, Data's a little bit Spockish.
and then like Worf being just the alien, the odd man out
Yeah,
in the crew. Um, and I don't know anybody else, but then like the big addition would be, I would say, Picard is completely new because there's no one like that. And like Kirk is not that, but we have Riker for Kirk.
yeah.
And I guess Bones is Crusher, but like
They're
we
very
don't
different people.
like very yeah, not the same personality types. We're gonna talk about Dr. Polanski, but like she's kind of more
Pulaski.
Bones-ish. Pulaski, she's definitely more Bones-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, Datalore I thought was pretty good, for the introduction of lore. uh, who I don't know if is it a spoiler to say that he comes back later?
Yes, that is a spoiler. I didn't know that.
Shoot,
I mean,
damn, I'm sorry.
that's interesting. No, I don't care. I already got spoiled. Sadly, I did get spoiled that what I got spoiled that the counselor Troy's mother returns all the fucking time. It's like, oh god. And then as well as I did get spoiled that, like I said, I liked the where no one has gone before, and I got spoiled on IMDb that the character of the traveler does come back.
Yes, he
I don't know how
does.
important he
He's
is,
a
but I
very
do know that
important
he is coming
character.
back. I really much enjoyed that episode, so I'm excited to see where else they go with that. But yeah, Datalore, it's interesting just because it's the first time they really explored just Data being an android. Like
Yes.
even though it's halfway through the season, you would think they would have gone more on with it, but like I don't know, it is interesting, and there is that like having that the the brother character that's like the evil brother character that is the same identical. So you have that fun. It's kind of like cliched stuff of just like I'm gonna pretend I'm him, and, you know. And of course you're just like, come on, gang, figure it out.
And no one listens to Wesley. He knew all along.
But you do get some great moments
Shut up,
of
Wesley.
Stewart that's just like, shut up, Wesley, and the very British seriousness demeanor.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of the better episodes. Um, and I thought that the when the bow breaks,
Ow.
that was an episode bow. Yeah, sorry. When the bow breaks, I thought that that was one of the more interesting episodes, even though I don't think it's a fan favorite episode. It's not a great episode, but it's interesting that. Do you remember all the premise of this episode, Ben?
I'm on the wiki right now looking and seeing if I remember anything.
So it's the episode where this planet that has superior technology to Starfleet decides to kidnap the children of the Enterprise because they are infertile. Or sorry, infertile. Um, so they are planning to kidnap the Enterprise, raise the children of their own, and those children will then create their children, and then create their children, and then they will have a society. They will keep on having a society. Uh, there was some interesting stuff in there in terms of just more dilemma stuff of just like what made them infertile is just gonna happen to the other children there, and it's just gonna be pointless, and they're just gonna be bound to just die by themselves. And then like there's a lot of stuff there the with basically that world is just a slave to the computer, and it just tells whatever the computer tells them to do, and is enslaved basically by it and doesn't have any thought of its own, which of course is very similar to people using ILMs in today's ChatGPT world, where we actually are seeing that people that use AI chats, like their intelligence goes down. So it kind of is weird that it's like they kind of this episode kind of predicts that it's not good for humanity to have a machine tell them whatever the answer is. It is better to use technology as a tool rather than just be a slave to it, which I think is something that only just now is becoming relevant. Where like you could have maybe said some cases back in the day when it comes to technology in like the early 21st century, but I think especially now with with how AI is in the chat stuff, way more relevant. Um, but yeah, that's it for season one. I would say. Are you? Do you think you're good for season one? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I don't think so.
What's your thoughts? Do you remember at all your thoughts on conspiracy? That seems to be one of the most mixed ones in terms of the fan base. It's the episode where these worms take over some of Starfleet, and there's a whole conspiracy of just like, oh shit, what's happening? Are they infected or not? And then it just becomes kind of dumb and stupid where they're just like, I know they're infected with these bug things. And it becomes no what the moral dilemma of the story just kind of just falls out of the story.
I'm looking at some screenshots on the wiki. They look vaguely familiar, but I couldn't tell you any details.
but it's a very mixed episode. I don't really particularly it was fine, but I don't think it's one of the best episodes of season 1. I don't think it's like a standout among the rest.
Yeah. What about, season 2 then?
Season
A
2, of
little bit
course,
better?
it is somewhat better, but also somewhat worse. It has, more highs just because it has highs, but also some of the lows, like, I don't think season 1 has anything as bad, except for maybe Code of Honor, which, of course, is one of the worst episodes ever because it is just racism. Um,
Yep.
but The Child is one that's really bad where Deanna Troy is impregnated with this space baby, and then there's, like, a 2-second scenes about abortion, and then she keeps it because it's women's choice, of course. And then the baby just has like this accelerated rate of growth, and it's just there's no part of the problem with it is that there's no really fucking dilemma in the story. It's just oh the kid's there, and then it's like should we kill this kid or not? Like of course they're not going to kill the kid. But then and then like even the second one where silence has lease, it's that one's another one that's bad. It only gets season 2 only gets a little glimmer of hope with elementary dear data, which I think is one that you did rewatch.
Yes, I did. I rewatched that yesterday,
Which is
and
not the first holodeck episode, though. We had the big goodbye in season 1, where that was the first holodeck episode. And there was also another story in season 1 where we did set up that Data had a Sherlock Holmes obsession. But season 2, that's definitely the first one where we get more it's I don't know, how would you what is how does elementary data stand out to you?
as someone who knows the future,
I sadly did also get spoiled because of IMDb that Moriarty does come back, which I was sad to find out that.
yeah, that I thought was a very good episode. Um, it's a great buddy Data and Jordy episode, hanging out, kicking ass, and then the implications of Moriarty gaining consciousness.
Yeah,
Really interesting.
yeah. No, I would say like that's what's so great about Elementary Data is that it's what Star Trek is great at, which is being a fun adventure, and then gives you a little bit of that dilemma at towards the end. I mean, and it's interesting, an interesting concept
Yeah.
um, that makes it so that it does stick in your mind, and it doesn't make it a forgettable episode.
And that's kind of the basis for like in Voyager, we have one of the main crew be a hologram. And even in Starfleet Academy now, we have a whole race of photonic beings. Really interesting, especially as it contrasts and parallels to Data and his life.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just a fun episode dealing with Data and how human is he? Pulaski sending that kind of challenge to him.
yeah. And just to talk about Pulaski, because I think that's a good segue to talk about Pulaski. She's just kind of annoying in the early on because she's so anti-Data. Like
Yes,
she calls him Data to start off with, and then she's so just down on him that like she's just like, "Oh, you're just an android." It's just like, "What do you mean? This is Data we're talking about. I just spent 20 hours with them. I love Data. You can't talk shit about Data." And it's just it was a really weird way to introduce that character. I warmed to her by the end of season 2, but like I still am happy in season 3 to get Crusher back again.
from what I remember, Pulaski, she's fine. Crusher is better in every way,
Yeah. You have with Crusher, you have the relationship with Wesley when Wesley is there,
and he
as
has a
well as you
relationship with
do have
Picard.
that, yeah, you have the history and the relationship with Picard that it is a room to explore, where Pulaski doesn't really have that.
Indeed.
But yeah, then the looking at the rest of season 2, Schizoid Man is another one that's somewhat interesting. Do you remember that one at all? That's the one where like his forget if it's like his he called him his grandfather. It could have been his uncle. he meets Data's uncle or grandfather, basically, that is somewhat responsible for the creator. No, it's his grandfather. So it's basically the person that created Data's mentor. So there's some connection there to his creator, and he's dying. It's played by the actor William Morgan Shepherd, who, of course, has the rare thing of being in both Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Mad Men. He did the three, man. I don't know
Are
if
those
any
the
other
3?
actor has done those three shows.
That's an interesting 3 shows. I don't know how Mad Men relates necessarily to the other 2 other than you really like Mad Men.
I really like Mad Men. I think there is some other Mad Men's folks in here, but there's also a couple of Twin Peaks folks in here, which I always get a kick out of seeing a Twin Peaks head pop up. Um, but he is one of those rare ones that has at least been in Doctor Who and Star Trek. There's not a long list of them because a lot of Star Trek, of course, is filmed in America, and Doctor Who's ends in Britain. But yeah, the that episode is somewhat interesting. It's kinda is creepy just because if you don't remember, he puts his mind into Data when he's dying. So then Data's just acting like a fucking creep and is trying to, like, is just acting like a jerk to everyone, acting like an asshole, and also is acting like a creep to his assistant that he just wants to bang and, be in love with, but it's Data saying it, so you're just like, "Oh, this Data's not shouldn't be doing this." Yeah, it's a very mixed episode, but somewhat interesting. And then I would say the next episode where I like I really I really liked Dear Elementary. I mean, sorry, I really liked Elementary Data, but I would say I really also liked A Matter of Honor, which is the one before Measure Man.
Yes.
Which you remember that one at all?
I kind of remember it. Enough to know I remember it being pretty good. It's a big Riker episode, kinda showing he's not just Kirk.
There's a Starfleet exchange program, so they get like that same race that we saw in that episode I talked about earlier with Crusher, uh trying out for Starfleet Academy, like the breath, like they breathe like smoke, like these like blue amphibian guys.
A Benzite.
Benzite, yeah.
They're not very common.
Um, it's an interesting design. Um, but they get him, and then they decide Wrecker is like the Wrecker grows off to be the first commander of Klingon ship. So there's some fun things at the beginning of the episode with him and Worf, and him
He has
eating,
to
getting
eat,
used to the
like,
culture, and him eating
gagh
the
or
Klingon food.
something, right?
Yeah. Um, And there's some just but Riker is it's one of those episodes that I don't know if it's entirely great, but just it's fun to see Riker and the Klingons together. And there is that like it's there's a fun premise of there's like this corrosion that both the Enterprise and the Klingon ship has. So then the Klingons think that the Enterprise gave it to them. So then they want to attack the Enterprise, but then basically, but then Riker has the problem that he has had an oath to the Klingon ship, so he has to work with the Klingons, but then he has to also figure out how to do not have them both go to war. So it's a fun, it's a fun episode. And then the next one, of course, is Measure Man, which is fantastic. The first, like, this is one of the best science fiction TV shows
Yeah.
I've seen.
I mean, that's one even I rewatched it today, but that's one that has stayed in my long-term memory. It's one of the best episodes of the show. Easy.
Like the franchise, I would imagine.
Probably.
Um,
Big Data,
Basically, I remember
Picard.
I texted you at one point. I was like, is does data one? I would think it was like one. Does data like can data leave Starfleet? And then two is like, does data have any rights?
Yeah.
And then I was like, don't answer any of
I
that.
said I think I said, "Just wait."
Yeah.
And this is
Um.
that where what is Data? Is he man or is he machine?
Yeah. Of course, the general premise is that there's this guy that just wants to take data apart to make more datas, but in doing so, he will basically kill what we know of as data because all of his the things that make him him will go away
Yeah.
or could go away. Is it that it you just watched it today, is it that they will go away or is that it could?
He the argument is this guy, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He says he's gonna make a backup, and like, "Oh, your memories and everything will be preserved," but Data's like, "No. It'll be missing the, like, the to use a philosophy term, the qualia." Like, there's a difference between facts and experiencing life, uh, and that could be lost. And that, sure, he may have all Data's memories when he puts it back, but it might not be, Data, the being, the consciousness, the soul, all that.
Yeah. And at the same time, he decides to just leave Starfleet, resign.
And
And
he's like,
but then they're like,
"No,
you
you
can't do
can't do
that because you're
you
owned by
are
Starfleet."
property. You are a piece of equipment that Starfleet uses."
So then, earlier in the episode, we didn't talk about that. There's also this whole setup of like Picard goes to this what is it called? Like, is it like a space center or like
A
space station?
starbase?
Starbase, yeah. They go to a starbase, and then the charge of the starbase is like an old lover that he has history with,
Yeah.
or could have been an old lover. There's
It's a
history
little
that
bit
is there.
ambiguous, some romantic tension, but also, like, "You court-martialed me, and I don't you know, I like you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I loved you, you
So
betrayed
then,
me."
basically, they have to go to trial and convince her as the judge to that Data is a sentient being almost, so that like he has rights.
Yeah, and Riker has the unenviable position as
Yeah.
he has no choice but to be the prosecution and prove that his friend has no rights, that he is a
Yeah.
machine.
Which is great. That's a great premise
And
right
the
there.
whole yeah,
There's so many great premises in this story, but that's one of those ones where it's like
ugh,
every almost it's one of those times where it's like everything in a story just works. You
yeah,
know, it's just like yeah, you see like there's no fat in Measure of Man. It's just like everything is there and everything is just perfect.
yeah, I really liked, having just watched it, Riker's body language where, like, you can tell, like, he's doing his best. He kinda wants to win because it's winning. Winning is good, but also he doesn't wanna win win because then Data will die, and he is kinda in conflict with himself, like, "I have to do this, but I don't what am I doing?"
But of course, like there's some I would say it's almost perfect, but like some of the arguments that Riker is doing is a little bit like okay, like him just being like, "Oh, bend this rod," and then he's just like, Well, I can take off his arm," and then like it's like okay, like it's like yes, it's great, but also there's a little bit of like okay,
Yeah.
like the like Kirk, not Kirk, Picard does make a good argument with the bending of the rod thing. It's like, well, yeah, like other races have super strength, you know?
The only thing that I didn't really love this episode is the, like, Picard judge sexual tension that didn't do anything for
Mm.
me.
I think there's something interesting there when it is like I have to like even though there is that history there, I have to still fight for my friend to live.
Overcome the awkwardness.
Yeah. But of course then then Picard just makes wins the debate just by just being like, yeah, this is just slavery. He pulls the slavery card. And then, of course, they're like, "Okay, yeah, I don't like slavery, so guess what? Data is a person, not a person, but he has rights." It's like, "Yay, Data has rights."
Yay.
Do they have one? Do they have a episode of Voyager like this that the Doctor has rights?
Not not equivalently, but the nature of, I mean, the Doctor has to kinda find his humanity in a similar way that Seven of Nine does. They get to kinda bond over that. He's back.
But a great episode.
Excellent episode.
I'm very much looking forward to more episodes like that, um, in terms of
That's
quality of
definitely
writing.
easily top 10. That's gonna be hard to beat, but there are some damn good episodes.
And then, after that, season 2 kinda takes a little bit of a nosedive, I would say, of, like there's nothing really that great, until Contagion. Contagion is somewhat fun. I know the Royale is somewhat, mixed response. You remember the Royale at all?
Um,
They, go to this hotel, that is based off of a bad novel, and then there's the best thing about the episode is they go to the person that the book was owned by. They go to his corpse, and they like, "Oh, he died peacefully in his sleep." And Worf has the great line of saying, "Oh, what a terrible death," which is one of those funny lines for a Klingon to say, of course. But yeah, there's nothing really that great until I would say Q Who, which is great. I really loved Q Who, which is of course the first Borg episode. It's also the first time we see Q again in season 2. And it's a great way to use Q to have him be with the Borg, of him being like that warning of like the Borg's coming, not have him just be this god creature that's just like, I'm gonna have fun and play my games with you. He's actually playing the game, but he's also is helping them in a way of letting them know that like the Borg is coming. And the Borg in that episode is it's very creepy, of how they just are just doing their thing in a way and being analytical. There's nothing really like they're not menacing at all, really. They're menacing in the ways that they're not being menacing. Like they go, I don't know how much you remember, but they go to inside the Borg ship and they do not care that Riker and Data and Worf is there.
yeah, it's really great. Like they're like ants. Like you wouldn't be threatened
Yeah,
by an ant. Just not even part of the equation.
no.
And the
But of course,
Borg,
then it's like they have
they're
that threat now of just like, oh, we have 2 years for them to come. Which I'm kinda confused by because they also mentioned that they're the ones at the neutral zone, so I don't know how they could be in the neutral zone, but also be 2 years away from them. That makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
That might just be a whole plot hole, but I don't care. It's still fun. It's still good. I'm excited to see them, like, back again.
I'm looking on the wiki and that appears as far as I can tell because Q and Guinan, they know each other.
Yes.
Do they how much do they go into that?
They just go into that one that Guinan knows about the Borg and has a history with the Borg.
Do you know who Guinan
Um,
is?
the the that's Whoopi Goldberg, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what she is?
Never really clear
Okay,
what exactly she is, unless I wasn't paying attention, but I was pretty much paying vividly attention to
okay.
Q.
Then I won't say anything.
Um, and no, she's great. Of course, a big celebrity at that time and it was a big deal for her to even be in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, she provides a lot of heart to her. She has her appearances are usually pretty minor, but they're usually pretty pivotal.
And her big thing was that she is a Trekkie, and she was going to them and being like, "No, this is a big deal because being a black woman, seeing her it's like I wanna join that legacy and stuff." And it's like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, she's also a Whovian. I would love to see what being Doctor Who at some point.
I can picture her. She could be 16.
No American doctors, man. No American doctors.
Why?
That's that's the one rule. But even like no Australian doctors or no, they need to be British Maybe the farthest it could go would be Ireland. But I think that the island, if I think I don't know if the Irish can have a doctor.
Scottish?
We've had multiple Scottish doctors.
Yes, that's great. Any other episode left in season 2 worth talking about?
Uh, Not really. Except for like Up the Long Ladder is embarrassingly bad. It's extremely racist against the Irish, which I didn't even know was possible in the 21st century to feel racism for as a white person, but you do. And it's a little bit it's just a really messy story. The Embassy is cool, and fun. That has like old love interest of a Worf's. It gets introduced in is a Worf episode. I actually really enjoyed Peak Performance, which is a they get this guy that's this race that's like he is like a strategist and he's there to do a test for Riker. But during the test, there is one of the Ferragi. Is that am I saying that right?
Ferengi.
Ferengi comes and they think that they're in the testing ship. There's something valuable, so they have to deal with that. At the same time as there's a B plot of like there's this game called I think Stratagem that they're playing, and Riker loses to the strategist. But then Polanski is like, let's get Data to do it. And then Data loses the first time and gets performance anxiety about his role in Starfleet. But of course, the second time beats his ass. It's very fun. But I enjoyed that one. And then, of course, Shades of Grey is just miserable.
To go back to peak performance real quick. It's Armin Shermerman as the Ferengi in the episode, who goes
Hmm.
on to play Quark in DS9. He just he is the Ferengi, I guess.
Which I am curious to see where they go with them because they are awful in season one and two.
Yeah, they Deep Space Nine is what does all the heavy lifting with their lore, essentially. And there's a lot of Ferengi DS9 episodes. Like Quark isn't like a side character, he's like main cast. There are a lot of Quark episodes. And he's probably one of the best. I mean, they're all pretty great, but he's one of the best characters on that show.
And of course, like in in these first two seasons, they're racist and they were supposed to be like this the big bad like the Klingons or
Yeah.
the Romulans of
The
next gen,
Ferengi
but then
at
got
this
replaced with the
point in
Borg.
Next Gen are basically unrecognizable for what the Ferengi really are.
But yeah, overall I would say season two I enjoyed it more, but even though they had more there was more down points of just like Pen Pals was a bad one. Up the Long Ladder, like I already said, was a bad one. Shades of Grey is terrible. And the child was really bad. I did not care for Loud as a Whisper, and I somewhat had fun with the Outrageous Arcona, but like for the most part, just I the lows were so low, but those highs were pretty high. So
So it sounds like
I'm excited to see where it
there's
goes.
a lot of shit you've had to wade through. But all in all, are you still enjoying yourself?
Yes, I think I went in a little bit too quickly. I was talking to you about it yesterday. I'm just like, I watched all of season one and two in like a month.
Yeah.
So that was 40 episodes I watched in less than 30 days. So I think
One a day,
I was already
I think is
started some
plenty.
episodes of season three, and I think I need to like take a little bit of a break before I get back to it. Because I was even watching like an episode like Who Watches the Watcher, which I could tell was a good episode, but I wasn't enjoying it as much as I probably would have if I too wasn't going as fast as I was going. Especially now that I know that I'm going to get more consistent
Yeah.
episodes that are
Season
great.
3
So
is
it's
when
like,
it starts
okay.
to get like good, really good.
I will say I'm gonna miss the season one and two outfits. It was like spandex and they were very tight clothing. Well, season three they changed to like much more like clothes. We're actually pants now. It's a little bit baggier on them because it's clothes. It's not like this skin tight
Yeah.
spandex that they wear. So that's gonna take a little bit to get used to.
Worf gets to have long hair instead of his like weird, almost like bowl cutty thing, which looks bad.
um, and I will say my last thing about next gen as a whole is I still have mixed feelings about the com badge.
You don't like the comm badge communicator in one?
I like they have a little like radio slash cell phone of just like in the like I like the original series little communicator device.
I'm too far gone. I love the comm badge because that's
It's like
the thing for the next 21 episodes of 21 seasons of television.
yeah. Except for like Enterprise, I would imagine doesn't have that, and the Discovery doesn't have that.
Yeah, yeah, they have to begrudgingly.
Go back.
What post Enterprise, in Kelvin and Discovery, they're in the weird position where it needs to be set before original series, but also it has to look better
Yeah.
than it. So it's always weird.
Yeah. They always have to face that issue of just like holograms don't really exist in next gen, but like they probably exist in Discovery
I just
because
mean like just the ships and the technology is more
yeah,
futuristic than it is in original series.
yeah.
Um,
Which is also just like the designs of
yeah,
technology is like much more of how we would think of modern words. The one thing I'm not looking forward to in Mon's Trek is the language stuff of
yeah.
like I don't know how I
They
feel about that. It's like
they
Star
shouldn't
Trek
say fuck.
does have a dialogue. But not even like they shouldn't swear and they shouldn't have like you shouldn't use slang. Like
No,
there's something to Star
it's
Trek
just
where
a
like they
difference
it's very
where I think Red Letter Media described it. This is more like
yeah.
Shakespearean,
Yeah.
and then New Trek is just like every modern TV show kind of dialogue where
But like Star Trek shouldn't age the dialogue shouldn't age in Star
yeah,
Trek.
it's a little bit like it has a timeless quality to it, which
Yeah.
Discovery 20 years from now will not be timeless.
No.
We're running a little long, but I do
Yeah.
want to ask you, do you have a favorite character?
Probably Data. I really like Data, but I also really like Riker. Those are my two favorites at the moment. Um I want to like Picard more, but I'm still like I don't know. I still feel like he's a little bit cold for my liking of just
He
like
warms.
I think that there's also a thing of just like, yes, I probably would want to be on board a Picard ship rather than a Kirk ship. Because I feel like I would trust my life more with Picard than
Picard's
Kirk.
a little bit more rational.
Yes, he's much more rational, much more calm, and much more like I think calculated, and I think probably is
He does
smarter.
have passion though.
Yeah, but
Like
then it's just
his
like,
measure of a man, like
yeah,
he when he truly believes in something, he's not afraid to yell about it.
but also he doesn't fill that spot that of course Riker fills of Kirk of the mission is not to boldly go where no man. Oh yes, the mission is to go where no man has gone before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And Riker certainly fills that hole. I don't know how much that changes throughout, but definitely in those first two seasons, he loves women, even though they clearly had that relationship with Troy established,
Yeah.
but they must have some type of open relationship.
I mean, I think at this point they had a past relationship, but they're not current, they're
Yeah,
flirting, but like
yeah.
they're not in a relationship right now.
Mhm.
Some of the people that you did not mention at all that I'm curious what you think of them. Diana Troy, Counselor
Fine.
Troy. She's fine.
Like, she's fine. Like, it's of course, it's like that trope of just like, "Oh, it's very convenient that she's not on the bridge at this certain particular time."
Yeah, it's they have to
And it
kinda
kinda
write
is annoying
around
where she
her
just
superpowers a little bit.
and always the superpowers, it's always like, "Yes, we understand that she's a little bit shady. We get that. We don't really need her to say, getting a sense that they're a little bit shady." But thank you.
And what about Jordy?
He's fun. Like, I think he's really fun with Data in Dare Elementary Data or whatever the hell that episode's name is.
Yeah.
He's fun with Data, and he's fun with Worf. I really I like the LeVar Burton. I think he does a good job.
Oh yeah. And LeVar Burton is just a
I still think
treasure.
it's a little bit bullshit he didn't get the Jeopardy gig. Everyone wanted him for Jeopardy.
He would have been great. Wonderful guy. What about you? If you tell me you don't know him, I understand. But O'Brien, Transporter Chief
Is that the
O'Brien.
teleporter guy that's going
Yes.
to yes, that I'm just like, okay, I'm interested to see where he goes. Because of course I already know that he's in Deep Space
Yeah.
Nine. And is a pretty big character in that
He's
show.
a main character.
Where in this he is much more of a background character and is just more filling that role of just, all right, I'll tell you, point you up. And it's like, okay, thanks.
I was surprised though. I didn't remember in Measure of a Man. He's playing poker with the boys.
Yeah. He's in Farpoint if I remember correctly, right?
He- Not named O'Brien yet, but he
Yeah.
is there. He has the con on the Battle Bridge. Which,
Yeah.
what do you think of the new Enterprise that can split into the saucer? And
Uh,
does that do
it's
anything for
it's
you?
it's interesting that first time they do it, but then of course you just say that in the pilot, and you're like, that's never gonna happen again in the show, or very not frequent. And
Not
I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, it happens, but it's so
Yeah.
situational.
Yeah.
They want to show off that it's possible, but like it barely comes up.
But also, my one of my critiques with just Star Trek in general. This is not really a next gen thing. This is more just Star Trek in general. Is just like this ship is so big. There's so many people on the Enterprise, but we only really see like these 6 people on the Enterprise always, and the occasional red shirt. But in this one, I guess it's more yellow shirts. Um, like I was like, come on, all these times, do we really need like the chief guy, the chief of security, to go down this planet, the chief engineer to fix this problem?
Star Trek is it's that's just the nature of it. Is it's mostly about the bridge crew.
Yeah.
Um,
Again,
but
I know that's part of the fun of it.
we do have characters that are not like O'Brien. Like,
Yeah.
have you met
Jordy gets a little sidekick in Q, and then she's in the next episode, and then I found out she's not in it in the rest of the series at all. She spills hot chocolate on Picard, and then they were like, "Nope, gotta take her out of the series." Which is kind of a shame. I would have liked a little him to have a little companion
have
in
you met
engineering.
Barkley yet?
Who is he?
If you don't know him, I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Reginald Barkley
I don't think so. Maybe I have, but I just don't know the name.
first appears in episode near the end of season 3. So no, you haven't met Barkley yet. But he's like a Not Bridge Crew recurring guy who is fairly important. Do you know the episode Lower Decks?
I know the show. I don't know the episode.
There's an episode of TNG called Lower Decks. You'll get to it at some point. I'm not gonna say anything more, but yeah, it's a fucking great show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's good so far. Even though I think that it is inconsistent so far, I am enjoying for even when it's bad. It's like it's a warm, comforting show because those characters
yeah,
are so like family. Even though I'm only 2 seasons in, like it is very family adjacent. Like in Doctor Who terms, I feel the same way that I feel like with Pertwee's era, where the with the unit family, I feel like that one has a real comforting
yeah,
aspect to it, and I feel like with this, I get that comfort.
yeah. Well, I would be interested to hear your thoughts as
But
you
also,
continue.
I just want to mention real quick before you just mentioned Lower Decks. I was shocked to find out some of these no these season 1 and 2 episodes even have episodes in Lower Decks that are referenced and is about these episodes. I'm like, that is insane
I
that they
mean,
reference
Lower
that
Decks,
shitty
the
episodes.
show, is all about. It's kind of a self satire where all the really shitty stuff they kind of poke fun at.
Yeah, so like that's why it's like it seems like they do a lot of these first 2 seasons.
Like, there is, as an example, there's a guy who plays like an ensign at Starfleet Academy in Next Gen, and that actor goes on to be one of the main cast in Voyager. One guy who plays two different characters, and then in Lower Decks, I think they like meet or something, and that's a whole thing. I'll probably watch Lower Decks at some point. I probably like it. I mean, I've seen a few. And, I need to watch more.
Yeah, it seems like it probably hit and miss depends on the episode, that some
Yeah,
episodes are gonna hit harder than others.
it's just the Rick and Morty style of humor. Mm. But I am interested to see what you think as of season 3 and season 4, etc. Maybe I can get you to watch DS9. I would just straight up
Maybe.
rewatch DS9 with you.
I'm still debating what I'm gonna do after this, if I'm gonna go to Deep Space Nine or if I'm gonna go to Picard.
I have been you've told me that, and I have been thinking. I think even season 3 of Picard, honestly, you don't need to rush for it. Like, and the fact that it connects a lot to the other shows, you might get more out of it if you watch it later than sooner. Um, there's nothing that you're like crazy missing out on
Yeah.
if you watch
But
it
there
in a
is the
few
thing of just like,
years.
I wanna even though that even though I'm watching it, it's just like, I kinda wanna see them now at this point on the Enterprise and being all old and aged. And also, I feel like my one thing is also is, like, I feel like when I get to Nemesis, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, well, I wanna know what happens to Data." I know that that does have a cliffhanger on Data's fate that Picard does explore. But yeah, I'm still debating that. And then even then, it's like I know Deep Space Nine and Voyager were on at the same time, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it in release order.
Yeah, so there's like one season that next gen and DS9 overlap, which there's a little bit of interchangeability or a little bit like of crossover stuff. Like halfway through DS9, Voyager starts. But Voyager is happening literally on the other side of the universe. So there's some references, but honestly, if you just watched, you could watch Next Gen and the DS9 and then Voyager, and you would get the connections. You don't need to like bounce back and forth between multiple shows. I don't think that's
Yeah,
necessary.
but also it could be fun to
It could
watch
be
it in
fun
release
though.
order. Yeah, that's what I've kind of have been starting to do now that I'm watching the original movies and
Yeah.
in order.
Are you gonna wait for 6 until you're like
Yeah,
almost done with
that's
Next
my goal.
Gen?
I'm gonna wait to do it until I am at that point in next gen.
Then what are you gonna
Which yeah,
do?
like you said, it's pretty late in next gen.
And then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna watch watch DS9 and then like Generations and stuff?
I won't do that. I probably will just go ahead and watch those movies just because it's like I just spent all those months with the next gen characters. I'm just gonna want to see where their storylines go.
Yeah,
Um, it's not like with the original series where it's like I have that connection, but it's not like it's like I just watched.
true.
I'm gonna feel different when I have just watched months of these characters.
Fair.
I want to see what happens next with these guys.
That's why I wouldn't recommend Picard though, because we have like seven 7 of 9 from Voyager is like the basically second main character of Picard. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
the
like yeah,
end of her story, which you see all throughout Voyager, and the culmination of her struggles, which is
yeah.
so important to that show. Which I mean, you could probably be fine, but you would get a lot more
Yeah.
out of it if you knew who she
It's definitely
was.
something that I'm gonna really have to debate about because also I could see myself in a world that I watch next gen, I watch the next gen movies, and then I just take a pause for
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean,
couple
I
months and do
wouldn't
something
if I were
else and then
you
come back.
watch Star Trek every day for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Watching all of these shows back to back, that would you would die. I mean, you might enjoy it, but, like, that's a lot of Star Trek. I I have watched Star Trek for slowly over years. You don't need to rush it.
Yeah. No, I definitely have to just remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Join us next week for I don't know what. I don't know when this is gonna get posted. We talk about Doctor Who on this. We'll talk about Star Trek. I don't know when the next time we talk about Star Trek is because I don't know if we're gonna do one on season 3 by itself or we're gonna do one about well, we can't do season 3 by itself because then I need to watch it'd be season 3 plus Best of the Both Worlds Part 2. It wouldn't be like, "Alright, we're only talking about
Yeah,
part
after
1."
season 3, I think basically the rest of them, season finale is part 1, season premiere is part 2. That's how they hook ya. You have to come back in a few months and see the conclusion.
It's also like this episode's already too long, but it's so weird when you look at it that like this is syndicated TV, so like
It's
all
f
the channels were different
Yeah,
for everyone. I did look it up that we had it was channel 5, I believe ABC for Massachusetts. Um, I think they did also they were one of the ones that did prime time with it. They didn't do because some went prime time and then some went just like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which kind of makes sense because in Massachusetts in particular, with how big computer industry and science industry is, there's gonna be a lot of Star Trek fans. So like you would probably want to put Star Trek more on a primetime slot.
yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting that like it took them all the way till to Voyager to be on a dedicated channel, which did become CW. But anyways, join us for Doctor Who talk. Maybe we'll do another Star Trek talk at some point.
I bet we
Not
will.
maybe, we'll probably will.
I mean, we've been talking about Star Trek sporadically just because 'cause I've been watching Star Trek. I'm up to date. I'm watching Starfleet Academy and hating Starfleet Academy as we speak.
Yeah, and then also Star Trek is in a weird state right now. We should have to wrap it up, but like it is in a weird state at the moment
Yeah, I saw a thing the
because
other
with the,
day.
the whole Paramount
Yeah,
mergers, it's kind of like who knows what the
there's
future of it is actually going
nothing
to
in
be.
production right now. We have Strange New Worlds season 4 and 5. 4 is gonna come out this year, 5 is filmed. Starfleet Academy season 2 has already been filmed. But what comes a
Really?
Yeah, but what comes after that,
Interesting.
we have no clue.
They did make multiple things of like during the Paramount when Skydance bought Paramount, they made it clear that Star Trek was going to be the one of their big IPs. But now that they're going to be purchasing Warner Brothers, it's like when you have DC, when you have Harry Potter, it's like how where does Star Trek fit into that? Because it should fit somewhere in there, but like I don't know if like I don't know how much you're gonna spend time on it if like because like I don't know if you heard, but they're gonna merge Paramount Plus with HBO Max, so it's just gonna be
Yeah,
under everything's gonna be under HBO. So it's like which would be kind of interesting if the HBO TV team did take over Star Trek. It's like I feel like maybe those guys could do something interesting with Star Trek, and I have be Alex Kurtzman, but like who knows?
yeah, I don't know what the future holds. There was just a couple years ago, we had 5 ongoing Star Trek shows, and now we're down to 2. Pretty soon it'll be
With one ending, like you said.
so I kinda hope that we have someone else take the reins of this franchise who will have a bold new direction.
I don't think it's a bold new direction. I think there is a little bit more needs. I think that watching next gen, it's like just go back to be it more next more have it go back like it's that thing of just make Star Trek be Star Trek. Don't have it make it be something else. Embrace what it is. Because I think you're gonna get newer fans if you embrace what it is instead of chasing newer fans with what they think newer fans want.
I don't know. It's just the problem. TV has changed so much. Like
Yeah.
I don't I don't think we can do a show like that anymore. Just like there was a time when you could have great shows coming out every week, nearly year round, and that's just not we don't have the technology anymore to do that.
Yeah. It's also like it's actually kind of interesting because this is the Doctor Who podcast at the end of the day. They kind of both franchises are in a similar place because they are these legacy franchises that kind of it is in an unknown state of just what is going to happen. We don't know. And both of them have a history of hiatuses.
Yeah,
Is it time for these both of these franchises to take a break?
depends on what you count as a break. Like, I mean, I guess. Like, there's a big break between animated series and next gen, and then
Yeah.
once next gen started, there was 1 to 2 shows on year round until 2004.
Yeah, but then you have that break for 5 years, and then it's just movies until 2000 until 2017
Yeah,
or 16.
17.
So, like, that's a big gap
Yeah.
of no Star Trek on TV. And even if you don't count the original series movies, the animated series to the next gen, that's a pretty big gap as well.
Yeah, it's like
But I don't know if
15, 10, 15 years.
maybe, like, I could imagine a world that they go to more of a TV model, but also a TV movie angle, but, like, with how bad people say Section 31 is, it's
It
Section
was
31,
fucking
right?
horrendous, Cam. I can't.
So maybe, like, that isn't the direction to go with the franchise, but, like, you could do 1 or 2 of those a year or every other year and
I
keep the
think
franchise going?
as a television movies could work. You can't do it like Section 31 though. That was
Yeah.
try that wasn't Star Trek. That was like a generic comedy action movie
Yeah.
with shitty characters and very little
I don't know, I
story.
haven't seen it, but I'm just saying, like, that's something that could be done because, like, it's all of this is money. Same with
When
Doctor
before
Who, it's
Section
like, who
31 came out, they said, "Oh, we wanna do a Paramount Plus original movie every 2 years." Whether that has
yeah.
changed with Section 31 bombing, I don't know, but if not, we could get
But
it.
then again, did it bomb viewers-wise? Did enough people watch it? Like,
I don't
who
know.
knows? And then again, with now everything going to HBO, it's like now does the HBO T is HBO's are they gonna merge Paramount TV with HBO? Or is HBO just gonna take over Paramount TV, so then HBO is gonna take care of Star Trek?
HBO Star Trek would be kinda interesting.
Except for I don't want, like I don't want, like, Game of Thrones, they're just like tits and dick and Star Trek. This is what Gene Roddenberry wanted. It's tits and Star Trek, baby.
Gotta that would be a bold new direction for sure.
George R. R. Martin, I know you can't finish the Game of Thrones books, but what about taking a shot at a Star Trek script? Join us next week. This has been a long episode. Um,
For some kinda Doctor Who thing, I don't know what.
yeah, something. It's the same bat time, same bat channel.
Have a wonderful
Peace
rest
out,
of your
everyone.
day.